What's up, everyone? We have an amazing video today, and we have some big things to talk about. First things first, we have to take a look at AMC, the stock's booming, but we also have some big news with Krispy Kreme and McDonald's. You guys are gonna like this one. We also have some big news with Tesla stock and Elon Musk, so either way, make sure to stick with us all the way towards the end of today's video. We also have a $10.8 million trade that you will not want to miss, so make sure to stick with us. But Tom, we are not wasting any time. Let's get right into today's episode.
Yeah, and just like we talked about, Mike, we have that range going on the S&P 500, and once again today we stayed right within that range. We ran right up to around 401, and then we rejected, fell all the way back down to 397, and just stayed like right around $400 as the day went. So as far as this range goes with SPY, there's that nice lower level around 397, nice upper level around 401 to 402. So I'm going to be watching these levels as we go forward, but we got a lot of nice price action out of the market. And look at early on, the SPY was actually moving up quite a bit. And I think the first big thing that really pushed us up today was Tesla. They were gapping up, and look at that big move it opened. This was one of the bigger tech stocks that kept running as the day went on. So Mike, it was pretty cool. Elon Musk actually regained the world's richest person spot today. This was insane. He regained it. And check out this video, guys. He's dancing here at his factory. I mean, man, he must be happy to have that back. I know a lot of people are kind of making fun of him in the past for that. But hey, he lost $200 billion. But whenever you hold the richest man in the world spot, there's going to be fluctuations sometimes. So it was nuts. He dropped down 200 billion, but he came all the way back now and passed up France's Bernard Arnault, which is a 73-year-old French tycoon who does luxury goods. So pretty crazy though, Mike. That is pretty cool to see him back in the spotlight.
So yeah, let's go back to Tesla stock for a second. Just like you said, Elon's net worth is pretty volatile. From its peak, he lost like $200 billion, and now he's back at that number one spot, but it's all thanks to Tesla stock. From Tesla stock's low on January 6th of 2023, it's up like around 100%. So that's awesome for Elon. It's been a great year for him so far, and Tesla stock has been on fire lately, Tom. We could see with Tesla, we're back above that $200 level. And, today was a pretty good day. So going into tomorrow, what levels do you have for Tesla?
Yeah, this is actually one of my stocks for the day today, so I'll kind of just get it over with early, I guess, Mike. So I'm really watching the 209 to 210 resistance from today. There's a lot of hits right around there over the past couple weeks where we saw a lot of price action with Tesla. Now, if we end up breaking above 210, I'm going to be watching for a possible push up to around 214. I would love to see us test up there. That is another huge area of resistance, then maybe 218. I don't think I would get too risky tomorrow and try to go much higher than that unless we see a lot of momentum, but definitely watch for that breakout early on. And I will say we could even reject off of here and possibly fall back down, but I'm hoping that we continue up with this good momentum. If we do fall down, if we end up falling back below 204, I think we might be able to retest 200, but that's a pretty big support down there, Mike, and I was really happy to see us gap up this morning up above there.
Yeah, so good stuff there. Shifting over to a different topic really quickly. I know some people are going to love this news, but there's actually a pretty big deal going on behind the scenes between McDonald's and Krispy Kreme. So basically what we have going on is McDonald's and Krispy Kreme are experimenting with around 160 McDonald's restaurants in Kentucky, and basically you can buy Krispy Kreme donuts from McDonald's. So you could either go into McDonald's and order them, or you could actually get them delivered to your house or go through the drive-thru. And I thought this was very, very interesting when I read the news, and I do think it could be a huge win for both companies. But then again, they are just in the test phase, so I guess we'll have to see how that goes, and if it's good, it might be good for both Krispy Kreme stock and McDonald's.
Yeah, definitely. And I will say a donut or a Krispy Kreme here ended up doing pretty good. Their ticker symbol is DNUT. So check it out. Early on, they had a pretty big fluctuation. So I think that is a pretty big piece of news, Mike, and it might even help out McDonald's. I think that would be a pretty big deal for both companies. So I love Krispy Kremes, Mike. I don't know about you. I could muck about 5 of them right now. It's making me want to go to Krispy Kreme, to be honest.
Yeah, that's true. Honestly, I kind of hope in some ways that this deal doesn't go through because I don't know. I might put on a couple pounds to say the least.
Yeah, exactly. It's going to be crazy. But man, shifting topics a little bit, I will say, we talked a lot about Tesla, the Krispy Kreme deal so far. We have a lot of big news, and there's still a lot of big earnings coming up tomorrow. We still have Zoom's earnings to go over. But before that, Mike, we still have AMC. Man, today, AMC was nuts, up 22%, and they have a crazy situation going on as well with their ape shares. Mike, this is nuts. I mean, this was an insane breakout today, all the way up to 820 around those highs. If you go out to that daily chart, they're definitely still very, very low. And I think that they, are finally getting some momentum back before those earnings tomorrow. So guys, let me know in the comments how you think AMC will do with their earnings. I know a lot of people have a lot of conflicting opinions about this stock. Personally, it looks like it's getting a lot of momentum, but those earnings will probably dictate a lot. But there's even some weird stuff going on with their ape shares and a lot of conversions. And today they popped a lot because it looks like they're pushing the date back a lot here.
Yeah, so there's like a bunch of things going on with AMC. As we all know, it's been one of the craziest stocks over the past couple of years. And, over especially the past year, it's been pretty rough for AMC. Like they had their ape shares come out. And, as Tom mentioned, basically there's a situation going on where some of the conversions for the ape shares might be delayed, which could cause those, I guess you say the parties who are short AMC common stock shares to end up having to hold longer. So that could potentially bring in some risk for them, but we'll see what happens. But either way, looking at AMC, the main thing you need to know is there's a lot of momentum right now. The stock's rising in a pretty quick way, and they report earnings tomorrow in after hours. So February 28th in after hours should be one wild day for AMC.
Yeah, it definitely will. And not even just for AMC. I mean, we're going to see a lot of big earnings tomorrow night, too, where we're going to have AMC, Rivian, Marathon, FSLR, Novavax, Blink, Virgin Galactic, even Monster Energy. So there's going to be a ton of reports. And, AMC is going to be the biggest watcher probably tomorrow, but even Rivian is going to be very interesting. Even Norwegian Cruise Lines and Target in the morning should be pretty big reports as well. So guys, screenshot this. There's a lot of big earnings coming up. Wednesday is going to be my favorite day personally. I think there's just a ton of awesome stocks that day, but man, there's just a ton, Mike. AMC tomorrow is going to be nuts. And honestly, I'm hoping that we get more continuations like this to the upside because I'm just loving this momentum. And talking about earnings, one of your favorite stocks, Zoom, is blasting up in after hours too.
You know it. So for those of you who've been watching the channel for, I guess a long time now, you guys know that I'm a pretty big fan of Zoom, and they did pretty good on earnings today. So they actually beat on revenue and earnings expectations. And Zoom is basically in a spot right now where they're just continuing to add more and more features to, Zoom to just add, just more things and continue to innovate and all that good stuff. And the revenue's been growing pretty steadily. Zoom is a growth stock, so of course it's very volatile, but especially relative to growth stocks, they actually have some pretty good fundamentals. And what's also very interesting is that the number of customers that Zoom has that contributes more than $100,000 per year is up 27% year over year. So I'm going to say that again. Basically, the main thing you need to know is the number of customers that pay them more than $100,000 a year is up 27% year over year. That's pretty big. That's amazing growth. And Zoom's a company that I don't think is just going to go anywhere. I don't think they're going bankrupt anytime soon. They're actually in a pretty decent fundamental position. And I know Zoom was getting a ton of hate over the years because as everyone was trying to say how, Zoom might go out of business once the pandemic's over, but it's just that argument has been proven completely false. Their revenue has done nothing but continuously increase, and the stock has done nothing but continuously fall. But I think we're finally at a point where we're going to see a nice pop up over the coming months and years for Zoom. So I hold it for the long term, and I'm very excited to see how the next couple of years are.
Yeah, exactly. I like it too. And even on like a technical basis, they were down here around some pretty low areas of support. I feel like, with these good earnings coming out, this might drive some buyers in here. And it's very nice to see those customers contributing more than 100,000 continuing to rise the way that they are. I know that's been a big number that we've been watching on Zoom for pretty much like ever since we've been talking about it for the past like 2 to 3 years. So I don't know, Mike. Zoom's one of my favorites as well. It's just been such a bad year. I know everybody's been hating on them, but it's one of those stocks where it's just they popped up too high and they were overpriced for a little bit, and that's just how every stock was during that time. Zoom was overpriced, DraftKings was overpriced. Heck, even the S&P 500 was overpriced for a little bit here over the past couple of years. So, there's a lot of stocks that have been overpriced and a lot of stocks have been falling down a lot. Obviously, some more than others, but I love this technical setup, and they have a big gap to fill back to the upside here between like 87.50 all the way back up to around 100. So I'll definitely be watching this one for the next coming like 6 months or so for that potential gap fill back up and for these supports to hold.
And another thing worth noting, Tom, is that not every growth stock is created equally. So when you look at a company like Zoom that's used all over the world and actually has good fundamentals, that is completely different than some shit growth stock like Nikola. You know what I mean? So that also has to be kept in mind. And, just like you said, Tom, like all stocks get to points where they're overvalued and, undervalued as well. And Zoom, without a doubt, was overvalued for a lot of 2020, and now to the point where I believe it's undervalued and, it's just more of a longer term play. So, of course, do your own research, but I'm pretty excited going forward.
Yeah, me too. It's going to be a big stock. And yeah, hopefully this is setting the tone for some good reports coming up, Mike. We have a lot of big growth stocks coming up this week, and hopefully Zoom is kind of putting us in a good spot. Maybe Salesforce and Snowflake will start to do well a little bit Wednesday and after hours too. Maybe ChargePoint and some of those other growth stocks will start to come around. So I hope that some other ones start to come too. But it's going to be a crazy week as we go forward, Mike. And Zoom hopefully will be a nice continuation play for the next couple days. So watch out for those day trades because, man, there's going to be a lot of opportunities going forward with some of these growth stocks reporting to the upsides and the downsides for some nice continuations.
Boom. Well, let's get right into some good setups for tomorrow, Tom. One stock that is at the top of my watch list for the short term is CLF. Today, I saw a ton of unusual options activity with this one. AKA, we have some big money players betting that this stock is going to have some upwards price action in the short term. I saw like 36,000 contracts traded for the 21 strike calls for this week's expiration. And this also came out as news came out that this company is actually raising prices. So that's a good thing. Either way, the main thing you need to know is that this stock has good news in the short term, and you have some big money players that this stock is also going to continue higher, and the intraday price action has been pretty dang strong. So for tomorrow and the rest of the week, this stock, CLF, is definitely towards the top of my watch list to the upside.
Yeah, definitely. Ever since you mentioned it this morning, Mike, I've been loving CLF too. I grabbed a few of those same call options, so I hope that this one ends up doing pretty well. It's a little gamble play, and I think it's a pretty fun one as the week goes. I thought that was some really good price action, and that was some good news to see them raising those prices on steel as well. We already talked about one of my momentum plays being Tesla, but the next one's actually going to be DraftKings to the upside. I kind of like how DraftKings had this little dip back down here over the past week or so, and I like how we're starting to bounce off this 1850 support. If we can start to move above 19 tomorrow, which was right around that high of day today, I like DraftKings back up in the short term. Now, I'm not looking for anything crazy. This would just be a little bit of a scalp. If we break 19, I'm watching for a potential move up to 1930 and then maybe 1955 to 1960. So it's nothing crazy, just a little scalp play for the next couple days or so. But I will say if we start to break out tomorrow, I did like that momentum back up today.
All right. Another stock I'm watching pretty closely is NVIDIA. NVDA, one of the craziest chip stocks out there, but this one is actually to the downside. So NVIDIA is really close to resistance right at $239 per share and $240 per share. So I'm just looking for NVIDIA to slow down a bit and maybe pull back to that $230 area. So I am bearish on NVIDIA right now, but keep in mind, It also depends on the overall market. So if we wake up tomorrow morning and the market's up 2% and every stock is green, then you probably don't want to be shorting Nvidia. But if we're seeing extra selling pressure or just a weak market overall, then Nvidia as a short is an opportunity all day long.
Yeah, exactly. And I think that's a really good way to play it because it's one of those bigger tech stocks. And one thing that is a little interesting. They had those good earnings the past couple days, and they haven't really been able to get that momentum up above that resistance. So it's definitely going to be a watcher there. It might even be a good breakout play if they end up breaking the resistance in a big way. But I'm kind of with you back to the downside, especially with how weak the market's been. I know the market ended up green today, but I'll be honest, compared to how it opened, it didn't end up very good.
Yep. All right, Tom. Well, it's now time for the momentum plays. With today's first one, we have good old Palantir to the upside.
Yeah, PLTR. I like this one here. There's a nice resistance here at 820. So if we break that, go ahead and watch for some calls back up.
All right. With the next one, we have Google to the downside.
Yeah, GOOGL. Yeah, I will say they were starting to consolidate a lot here today, make them break below 89.40. There was a lot of price action down there.
And with the last one, we have Shopify, but we need both directions.
SHOP, another consolidation type play over the past week or so, kind of like the SPY, just staying within a bit of a range. If they break below the low of day at 39.75, just below 40, which is a huge support, I'll watch for some puts down. But there is a big resistance intraday around 40.63. And I think if we can break that early on, we can get some calls. So watch 40.63 to the upside and 39.75 to the downside.
All right. Well, you guys heard Tom. Those are the levels for day trades tomorrow. Don't forget about the Google play to the downside as well, and then the Palantir play to the upside as well. So keep an eye on those day trade setups for tomorrow. But Tom, it is now time for my favorite part of today's video, and that is the big money trade of the day. This one's a big one. So there was $10.797 million put into VMW. So basically, we have someone betting $10.797 million that VMW is going to tank down. This much money went into the 110 strike put options that expire on January 19th of 2024. So for my viewers out there who don't trade options, like I said, we have a big money player betting that this stock is going to tank down. This situation is very unique as these put options are right at the money and they have a good amount of time. They expire on January 19th of 2024. Basically, we have a situation where ticker symbol AVGO or Broadcom is trying to, I guess you could say, acquire VMware, which is VMW. And this deal has been scrutinized pretty heavily by regulators. And if the deal does not go through, VMware could tank down in a pretty decent way. So to me, this looks like a bet that the deal is just not going to go through. And if it doesn't, this play can print.
Yeah, and I will say this has been some pretty bearish price action on VMware here over the past month or so. I mean, this has been some very downwards movement. So I like this play, Mike. That was a big red candle today. And with all that regulation news and stuff like that going on, I think this could be a very nice play to watch for. And what I really like is that the expiration is actually somewhat close, I like that they have a lot of time on it so that you don't have to really worry about that short-term price action as much because, they're really watching for it because it's going to take probably a few months for these regulators to make decisions. I mean, look at how long ATVI has been waiting for, some of these decisions to start coming out. It's been insane with some of these stocks and some of these regulators trying to, squander the deal or the merger, I guess you could say.
Exactly. So I think overall, this is not necessarily a setup where, if you're looking to day trade, this is probably not for you. If you're looking for a longer term swing play, then maybe this is worth it for you. But just understand it's a somewhat interesting situation as it is heavily influenced by news and just events related to this acquisition deal. With that being said, if you are looking for day trades or short-term opportunities, check out our first link in the description in the comments down below. you'll get access to daily multi-million dollar trades from, you could say, hedge funds and institutions, essentially. These trades work very, very well, as you'd expect from when you follow hedge funds and, people that are trading with, millions and millions and millions of dollars. Just the other week, we had $1.35 million going to like the Boyle 5-strike call options. And ever since, the stock has just been booming to the upside. So if you're looking to follow or not even, some of them are day trades, but some are like swing trades as well. If you're looking to follow these trades every single day, definitely check out that first link in the description and the comments down below. You'll get access to all these types of trades before the market closes each day. You'll also get access to our day trade bots and a bunch of other features you won't find anywhere else. You can cancel at any time, and the first month you will save around $40. So definitely check it out. It's awesome if you're into short-term trading. But with that being said, Tom, tomorrow we have an exciting day. Some more earnings coming out. We had a bunch of craziness with AMC today. Do you have any final thoughts going into tomorrow?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, AMC is going to be a big watcher for me, guys. I know all the day traders out there, and there's a lot of guys out there who love AMC. So let me know in the comments how you guys think AMC will do. I think it's going to be a very fun next couple days with a lot of these earnings between AMC, Neo, and then Salesforce, bunch more stocks too. So it's going to be a very fun next few days, Mike. I don't really think it's going to maybe affect the overall market too much because these stocks aren't necessarily like Apple or Tesla or anything like that. But I do think that individually we will see a lot of awesome price action, just like we saw with Zoom tonight. I mean, look at this stock. This one's flying up. We saw big move with Nvidia the other day with their earnings. Netflix had some crazy moves recently too, in all directions, but mainly up after their earnings. So yeah, it's been a crazy earnings season so far, and some of these tech stocks have been doing pretty good.
Love to see it. All right, guys, we'll definitely have an exciting day tomorrow. If you're into short-term trading, definitely make sure to check out that first link in the description and the comments down below. It's awesome for short-term trading. Besides that, we want to give a giant shout out to today's member of the day, Skull Tip, in the StockedUp Discord. You're very new to the chat, but you've been super active and great so far. So definitely keep it up. It's awesome to have you. Besides that, let's have an amazing week.